Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm here to watch with you guys a video from Seth the Programmer called Naruto vs. Ichigo Debunked. Now, the reason why I wanted to watch this is because if you follow Seth on Twitter, then you'll know that he's actually working on a project where he actually has Naruto versus Ichigo, basically putting them in a fight and seeing who would actually win. And I'm really looking forward to that. But before that, I want to watch this video where he debunks the Naruto versus Ichigo fight that was done by Screw Attack. Now, this isn't the first time that he's debunked one of their videos. It's usually him and someone that he's collaborating with, and basically working to debunk what Screw Attack tries to basically say would happen if these two were to ever be in a fight together. So let's go ahead and watch the video.
So I was going to actually record Madara versus Aizen.
Which, by the way, we are going to watch. By the way, someone asked me to react to that video, and we will definitely do that.
Before I did this, however, yeah, so I guess we're stuck doing this for now. Before we start, I just want to talk about this death battle. It wasn't actually too bad, I don't think. I knew it was going to be requested, and I knew they were going to say some stuff that I would just like to clear up. A lot of people get this negative vibe from my channel because of the red X and the sense of humor I usually have in my videos, but that's usually just a persona. And I want to prove that today by making today's video more mature, for what it's worth anyway. And before we get into it, I also wanted to touch up on a few things that don't really relate to power scaling. A lot of people were kind of coming to me with like this concept: Seth, don't debunk this. Naruto should win the battle. Ichigo is weaker than Naruto. It shouldn't be debunked.
Yeah, they had Naruto win the fight.
With stuff like that, I don't really care who wins battles ever.
Yeah.
I've debunked videos where Dragon Ball characters win battles, and I'm an apparent Dragon Ball tard, right? And it's like, you shouldn't care who wins the battle. You should care about how they're representing the characters.
It's
for
more
example, let's say Timebreaker Bardock.
It's more so the fact that they sometimes get certain facts wrong about about characters and what they could actually do. I think that that's the whole purpose of the debunks, is that, you know, Screw Attack, because they have such a large following, whenever they put out a video, sometimes people will think that, oh, these people probably really know what they're talking about. And then you watch one of Seth's videos, or one of Swag's videos, or one of Clyde's videos, and they basically debunk their statements, showing you that either they're wrong or they're completely underplaying a certain character's capabilities. I think that that's more so the point of these videos, is that to clear up what they're trying to present as fact when it comes to characters' capabilities.
My favorite Dragon Ball character ever was faced up against Cosmic Armor Superman, right? Because apparently I'm a big Superman hater. So my favorite Dragon Ball character versus apparently my most hated other fictional character. And they said Cosmic Armor Superman obliterates Bardock. I would be perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, Cosmic Armor Superman is pretty
if they
powerful.
Said Cosmic Armor Superman obliterates Bardock because Bardock is barely a planet buster, just like the rest of Dragon Ball, then I would have a problem. And that's how you should kind of view these battles. You shouldn't really care about the victor of the battle, or if it coincides with your fanboy taste. You should care about the information displayed. And also, Screw Attack has admitted numerous times now that it is mainly for entertainment. They say that Wiz and Boomstick are just personas. They're not actually trying to answer or make the final answer to the death battle. They're just giving their best thoughts. A lot of people also were going about this, that, oh, they're intentionally attacking Bleach. And I have to disagree. I think if you said, oh, Ichigo is 4th dimensional or 5th dimensional, scaling off of the statement with Aizen, and he was infinitely stronger than Naruto, and he's just not meant for these kind of death battles, then a lot more Naruto fans would be salty. And also, the Naruto fan base is bigger than the Bleach one, whether you agree with that or not. So I'm completely neutral on Naruto versus Ichigo. I find them very similar. I have a lot of friends that think Ichigo wins. I have a lot of friends that think Naruto wins. And I've actually been working on a series of Naruto versus Bleach videos. I already did the Espada versus the Akatsuki. That went very well. I was actually going to follow it up with Madara versus Aizen. And if you guys are interested in that, please subscribe.
Which, again,
and look
we
forward to
will
that in the
watch.
future. I've been doing a lot of research on Naruto and Bleach,
Excuse me.
and obviously for this debunk and for those videos. So I do have a lot on my plate here. And otherwise, let's get started. So the first 16 minutes of the actual Naruto versus Ichigo video is basically history filler for more advertisements.
Yeah.
Not to throw any shade or anything.
Yeah, that's
but it is
basically how their
useless
videos work.
information, mainly meant for time constraints. So I am going to be ignoring that. If you have any problems with that, feel free to yell at me or smash that dislike bar for whatever reason. And I'm going to be going into the actual scaling that they gave at the end of the video, where the scaling is actually relevant. They start off by explaining why Naruto can fight Ichigo even though he's not technically visible to the naked eye, which I actually do agree with. Although comparing Reishi to the souls in Naruto is somewhat of a logical fallacy for many reasons.
Yeah,
the afterlives and laws of the two verses are obviously different.
Yeah, they're completely
and it's not logical
different.
to blatantly compare them and say that they're the exact same. Obviously, astral forces work differently in almost every form of fiction. Now they go on to the speed side of things. So for Naruto's speed, as I've stated before, props to this death battle. They actually did a pretty good job, like I said. They actually used guides this time.
Yep.
It's far more consistent to use these guides instead of just run around with useless headcanon on how should work while fighting author intent of the series.
And that's, oof. Yeah, unfortunately, this is something that does happen a lot in the fandom, which is, you know, whenever someone points something out, they'll always try to defend it. And I don't have a problem with someone wanting to defend it. That's pretty normal. But a lot of time, excuse me. But a lot of the times, some of their defenses, or some of the defenses that I hear, isn't something from the actual, like, they're not using statements from the actual show. It's mostly just headcanon. And to me, it's like, headcanon doesn't actually work as a defense, because it's you coming up with an argument based on some very, very vague things that are presented by the show. And it's like, yeah, but the show never definitively stated this. That's just you coming up with your own headcanon, because either the show, again, has very, very vague explanations, or or sometimes, most of the times, they don't explain it at all, and it's just us coming up with our own headcanons to try to explain things. But the thing is that even just because you're trying to come up with an explanation on your own, doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's actually happening. Do you see what I mean? It's like, it's hard for me to take headcanons as an actual, you know, argument, because that's all it is. It's a headcanon. Doesn't mean you're right, and it doesn't mean I'm right either. It's just us coming up with our own explanation. It's us trying to explain something in the show because it never properly explained it itself. Do you see what I mean? So that's why I actually agree with what Seth said here, is that it's better to use actual statements, factual statements by either the author, whether it's in the data books or from what's actually shown on, you know, on whether it's on the page or on screen if you're watching the anime, in order to come up with an argument for whatever it is you're trying to defend, as opposed to just using your own headcanon.
There's still an issue here. One,
Excuse me.
they state that Naruto's combat speed should be lightning level based off his battle with the 4th Raikage. And this is wrong for many reasons. For one, it's never confirmed the 4th Raikage is the speed of lightning. However, I do agree it's very possible he's above or at lightning speeds. In the data books, manga, and anime, Kakashi with his lightning blade was stated to be able to chop lightning bolts in half with Chidori. And we do know that heavily fatigued Sasuke Uchiha could launch lightning speed Kirins. Willis, terminally ill, half-blind, dead Itachi could react to them. So yes, it's very easy to say 4th Raikage is on lightning level. However, as I said before, there are multiple issues. And the issue here is that they're implying the unmastered raw KCM, or QB Chakra mode state, is just as fast as 6-path Sage mode.
Oh,
by
yeah,
slightly
no, that's
just throwing
wrong.
in, but hey, look at this reaction feat 6 paths did. Now, if we're going to be logical here, 6 paths Sage mode is even more powerful than just the base 10 tails. This is shown by Naruto overpowering Ten Tails Rinnegan Madara without even using his Six Paths cloak, let alone the half-assed yanked KCM cloak early in.
Well, again, the thing that I kind of want to say about this is that, let's just go back a second. When it comes to Naruto, just again to clarify, because I know some people have this misconception, is that Naruto was in Six Paths Sage mode because of this. Like whenever Naruto enters Six Paths Sage mode, it's the only signifier is this. Whenever you see Naruto with these eyes and no pigmentation around his eyes, that's when he's in Six Paths Sage mode. The cloak that you see, is the normal KCM cloak that he stacks on top of it. That's what that is. That's him adding his KCM cloak on top of Six Paths Sage mode, because a lot of people are confused, and I can understand why. But no, Naruto doesn't, like, it's not when he puts on the cloak that he's in Six Paths Sage mode. No, it's just this. That's why when you saw Naruto wake up after being given the Nine Tails chakra by Obito, as well as chakra from the other tailed beasts, when he wakes up and you see him with these eyes, he was already in Six Paths Sage mode. He just stacked Kyuubi chakra mode on top of it. And then, of course, you saw the truth-seeking orbs and the staffs that he had in his hands. And also, when it comes to this, I will say that based on context, because a lot of people will say that, well, base Six Paths Sage mode, Naruto was able to damage Madara. Remember, I've said this in previous videos, but one of Madara's biggest flaws is that he doesn't take his opponents seriously, and he tends to enjoy the fight way too much. And also, him being able to damage Madara at all, first of all, this doesn't really make a lot of sense, because I've always wondered, wait a minute, like he has the Rinnegan, he has one Rinnegan, can't he just absorb it? Why is he just allowing himself to be hit by this attack? Like, he should have been able to absorb it no problem. Like, this moment always did kind of bother me. Like, I get that Kishimoto was trying to make Naruto look impressive, but if you really think about it, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because Madara should have just been able to either easily absorb it or be fast enough to dodge it. So, yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to say about this.
Yanked KCM cloak early in the war. To put this into perspective, Nine Tails is a beast that develops much differently than the others. Its hatred swelled into power and massively increased its size and strength. With even half its chakra, it was capable of fending off 6 other Bijou with no difficulty. Six Paths Sage mode would be even above a full Nine Tails, let alone half, with all of the other Bijou put together, along with Madara and a Rinnegan. Even lowballing, this would be far beyond KCM base cloak numerous times. The last issue of this lightning KCM scaling is they claim this is based off the return stroke of a lightning bolt, which is an even bigger assumption and stretch. Let me explain what a return stroke of a lightning bolt is real fast, and explain what a lightning timer level fighter like Kakashi would actually be. You can find many explanations like this as well on government websites if you want to, like lightning safety, etc. The return stroke is the very bright, visible flash that we see as lightning, caused by the rapid discharge of electricity. Once the step ladder makes contact with a streamer, the negative charge that has been accumulated along the leader channel flows rapidly to ground. The movement of the charge starts at the point of contact and rapidly works its way upward as a charge is drained from the channel. Essentially, the return stroke is most of the flash of light that occurs after the lightning hits the ground and is ignoring the step ladder. A step ladder would be what actual lightning level fighters look like, and here I'm going to quote, "The vehicle by which these electrons move from the cloud to the ground is called a step ladder. It moves to the ground in rapid, luminous steps that are about 50 yards long. Each step occurs in less than 1/millionth of a second, and the time between each step is about 1/50 millionth of a second. The stepped ladder, moving at a velocity of about 200 miles per hour, takes about 1/100th of a second to travel from the cloud to Earth." So essentially about 220,000 miles per hour, not 220 million miles per hour, going off of the flash of a return stroke. Because if you did dodge lightning, you would be dodging the contact of the actual lightning or the step ladder, with the return stroke not really activating. So it's very logical to assume that you'd be dodging the actual return stroke, because the return stroke usually happens after it makes contact.
Yeah.
Moving on, 6 paths Naruto was faster than light in reactions, and nothing contradicts it, and I agree with that. He was able to keep up with Sasuke's teleportation and casually dodge the light beam from Madara. And yes, he did show this in the manga as well. The manga simply showed it in one frame, whereas the anime is actually an animated cinematic of what's happening. I've explained this in more in depth in other videos, but once again, this is kind of lowballing.
Okay, is it just me or does Sasuke's eye kind of look a little weird? Here, specifically.
This might be a surprise to some people, but it is actually a little bit of a lowball, simply because the Sage Art Light Fang is a super casual, no hand signs jutsu Madara just kind of spits out with just one Rinnegan. As a reminder, Madara gets another Rinnegan that massively increases his power, shown by him increasing his Limbo clones to 4. He then even gets the Renni Sharingan that grows him even further, with Kaguya surpassing this way beyond that, as stated by Naruto. And then Naruto, when
It was stated by Sasuke.
going all out, was able to swap hands with her briefly. So there's no reason to suggest that this weaker
I will say this, the whole thing about Naruto being able to swap hands with Kaguya doesn't really make a lot of sense, you know, logically, based on what Kishimoto was kind of saying, because if I remember correctly, Kishimoto himself that said that he, you know, Madara kind of didn't have any weaknesses, and essentially by saying that, he's basically saying that, you know, Naruto and Sasuke basically kind of didn't really have a chance against him, which is kind of why you had to find a way to get rid of him. But to me, I always thought that was kind of weird, because you got rid of Madara, but you introduced someone that's even stronger. So strong that Naruto and Sasuke were kind of basically shitting their pants by sensing her chakra alone. So how was it that they were able to put up a fight against her at all? I don't know, that just seems a little bit weird to me.
Madara variant with the casual Sage Jutsu is the max of their abilities. They also used the Bankai guide for Ichigo, which I approve of. This lightning scaling is backed up by numerous things in Bleach, like Aranyeto absorbing over 30,000 hollows, many of which are over the speed of sound with Sound Step or Sonido, with many other Espada surpassing hundreds of times over.
This is very important. This is Zangetsu, by the way, not a Vasto Lorde. Even though a lot of people refer to this form as Vasto Lorde Ichigo, this is Zangetsu.
Using release scaling, like
Taking
a base
over.
Espada can crap on a previous one's release date, and that one can release and become tens of times stronger on top of that, and then that one's surpassed by another one. So yes, it's very easy to say that they're at least lightning level. I'm also glad they understand the difference between combat and reaction speed, finally. Although once again they used KCM compared to 6 paths out of desperation to compare the two, and it doesn't really work. They themselves admitted that their speed calc for Ichigo is a stretch in their Naruto versus Ichigo question and answer video as well, and understandably so. The entire calc is based on assumptions for normies that nod their heads to everything that sounds like a complicated math problem they don't really want to think about. They then go into detail about how Ichigo has problems damaging people stronger than himself, which is true. But that's mainly the style of the manga and the combat in the series. The exact opposite could actually be said for Naruto's combat, in which far weaker fighters can damage opponents that are supposedly millions of times out of their league. Here we get into multipliers. Now, multipliers are always a fun thing to talk about, and I don't have a problem with them, but they claim Ichigo's hollow mask is probably not 10.
Wait, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, just give me a minute. Oh god. Oh man. Oh god, God, that moment was stupid. All right, let's move forward.
Times, which is far from the case. We know that a Bankai is relative to the resurrection
Sorry
form
about
of an
that.
Espada, or how Ichigo isn't even base Grimmjow level, yet with his mask he evolves to the point he can body resurrected Grimmjow, even though the resurrection is basically their equivalent of a Bankai. It's simply illogical to assume it doesn't offer a substantial increase of 5 through 10 times, like a Bankai if not more. I know they did end up using it anyway as, given the benefit of the doubt, however I did just want to debunk that misconception. Also, I'd like to say that Ukiura in his first release was toying with Ichigo. Base Ukiura versus that Ichigo is a far closer match when they did fight. They then slapped some upscaling on an Ukiura level attack and called it a day for Ichigo. I'll get into why that doesn't work later on. Screw Attack then claims a random unfocused blob of chakra falling out of Naruto's body should be his maximum attack potency, which is wrong for many reasons. I'll go into more in a bit, but it should be noted that this is unfocused and non-attack related chakra. It's quite literally just raw chakra. A good example of what I'm getting at is the jutsu and condensed use of chakra far exceeds the powers of just the base chakras of the user, such as Sage Naruto getting slapped away by the Nine Tails, yet seemingly obliterating Kurama with the Rasen Shuriken, or how the Ten Tails is an extremely powerful monster, but when it is in a Jinchuriki, can become far more stronger due to the shinobi's ability to focus its energy. All in all, this moon feat is shabby at best, and even random faceless cloud shinobi in the same movie, pooling a ton of their chakra together, we're going to teleport the entire moon away and destroy it. And if we know anything about Naruto, it's that his chakra far surpasses even the Shinobi Alliance, let alone an extremely torn up Cloud Village. I think they also did a good job explaining the Hado technique that was apparently star level, because I agree that Ichigo slapping away Hado or Might Guy running in warping space are not star level attacks. You should definitely not highball Naruto to that level without more evidence. We have no idea how warping space really works, and obviously black holes work much differently than simply just bending space a tad bit. Although they kind of ruined this by saying Ichigo got damaged by an attack weaker than the calc they gave to Ukiura to try to debunk it, and that doesn't really make sense unless you're implying Dangai is weaker than the master release that fought Ukiura, which is kind of out there. Now this is the fun part of the video.
No, dude, Dangai Ichigo slaps Vasto Lord Ichigo. Like, Dangai Ichigo was insane when it comes to just how powerful he actually is.
Yuha and Kaguya aren't planet busters, and Naruto and Ichigo don't scale to them. Oh boy. The first claim they make is that Kaguya is only a planet buster using the Shinobi Alliance and Earth's population as well as their own. Earth's population having literally no chakra in comparison to the Shinobi Alliance. This is wrong simply because you seem to forget that KCM Cloak Naruto went around the battlefield and slapped everyone on the back and gave them all 3 times the amount of chakra Kakashi had normally. Kakashi being a Kage level fighter by this point. Meaning Naruto with no effort was over 3 times stronger than the Shinobi Alliance with just 1/2 of the Nine Tails. Let alone when he got a form stronger than all the Bijou and Sage Mode put together, and then actually absorbed all nature energy on the entire planet to fight Sasuke, in which Sasuke originally...
Sorry, but do we actually know that he absorbed nature energy from the entire planet? Or is it just like, or was it just an extremely large amount of nature energy? Because if that's the case, it would make Sasuke at this version way more impressive than he actually was. Because if Naruto needed to absorb natural energy from the entire planet just to power up his attack, just to tie with Indra's arrow, I mean, again, that should tell you just how powerful he actually was in this version. So again, I don't know. I don't remember reading anywhere that he absorbed natural energy from the entire planet. I mean, I remember Sasuke saying that he could sense it, that yeah, he could tell he gathered a ton of natural energy, but I don't think it was from the entire planet because, oof, like that's insane. And again, it would make Sasuke look a lot more impressive here than he actually was, because Naruto on his own was already pretty damn powerful. The fact that he needed natural energy from the whole planet just to tie Indra's arrow, I mean, that's insane. But yeah, I don't think that's the case. I think it was just that he gathered a lot of it, but not from the entire planet. At least I don't think so. Or I don't remember reading that in the manga or anywhere. Hmm. Just if you think that, let me know in the comments where you heard this. Not from the video, but where either the manga. No, because I don't think it was in the manga, but if it was any of the data books, because I don't remember it ever being there.
Originally absorbed all the tailed beasts, in which all the tailed beasts put together were comparable to a small planet, even when unfocused on the sensory board. Even Toneri in the same movie you're referencing was going to absorb solar energy and try to destroy Earth, in which Naruto acknowledges he's capable of doing that, implying it's extremely easy for them to reach these levels in a short amount of time. So is it logical to throw everything out of the window for Naruto God tiers because Kaguya absorbed energy from the Shinobi Alliance that shouldn't have even been 10% of her power to create an orb greater than a planet plus size dimension because it can hold a moon in it? Over a feat that was just a random uncontrolled glob of energy exploding? Sure, why not? They then claim Yuha isn't planetary because he was going to destroy the world via collateral effect with the balances of their structures, which once again, there's a problem. Yuha wasn't going to destroy the worlds, he was going to destroy and recreate them afterwards. The Soul King's power was enough that it spread throughout all the worlds, and this was absorbed by Yuha.
All three worlds.
However, this isn't even a main selling point. Yuha in his final battle with Ichigo was going to obliterate all the worlds literally on top of him in the same fight. It was physically the plot at that point. It was the dramatic effect, implying Ichigo was going to be erased in something much more than a balance collapse. In fact, Tite even went out of his way to draw a random panel of the planet away from the battle. We don't even know where this takes place, having Yuha's energy forcibly blowing out of it to signify Yuha was affecting other planets or other parts of the planet, and that he was going to destroy everything, like he was saying. This can also be backed up by Yamamoto and his Bankai. In the battle with Yuha, Yamamoto, just on the suppressed release of his Bankai, where he was holding it all within his sword, was evaporating every bit of water or moisture in the Soul Society. The Soul Society being a parallel world to our actual one. This proves Yamamoto's Bankai had massive range, at least on a planetary level, and that captains and Yamamoto then claim that if Yamamoto's Bankai goes on for too long, and he can't restrain the whole thing, the entire Soul Society, along with them, will be destroyed. And yes, we've already established Yamamoto has planetary range. Even lowballing, this would be a life wiper level attack and beyond continental levels, with Yuha obviously surpassing that tens of times over just by mere scaling, and you have been upscaling this entire video. Yuha then absorbs this power casually along with the Soul King and Mimihagi, so there's absolutely zero reason to doubt Yuha can destroy worlds, simply because you refuse to believe Bleach can be scaled past the Espada arc halfway through the series. Every character also confirms Yuha's plans. Tite was simply going for a last all-or-nothing battle and got rushed. Claiming Ichigo can only be scaled to the Espada because you can't find any way to scale anything else is an appeal to ignorance fallacy that is obviously extremely lackluster and doesn't apply to anything objectively. Overall, I don't agree or disagree with who wins the actual fight. I'm just mainly stating my disagreements with the death battle, and obviously making this video because I got requested on every video I made, on Twitter, on Discord, and you guys wouldn't leave me alone. So I hope that answers your questions with what I had problems with. I'm currently neutral on Naruto versus Naruto, and I have been planning a versus video on this topic myself for quite some time. I'm actually working on Aizen versus Madara first. I actually announced Naruto versus Ichigo in my Espada versus Akatsuki video months ago, and then Death Battle obviously announced theirs like a month later, and I was like, oh, okay, so I'm probably gonna have to debunk that first. So anyways, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. You know, be sure to subscribe if you want to see that Aizen versus Madara video. I'll go into more detail about the actual calcs of them instead of just debunking claims. And till next time.
Okay, I think that's the end of the video. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, there it is. Again, whether who wins, you know what? I will leave that up to you guys. I'll leave that up to you guys as to who you think would win. Personally, I don't know. I mean, based on what we know these characters could do, it's kind of difficult to say. If I had to guess, I would say maybe. I think I'm still gonna give it to Naruto. Not that that's downplaying Ichigo, but I just think that Naruto, based on the just pure raw destructive power that he has, it's like, yeah, we know Ichigo's fast, and I do believe that Ichigo's very, very powerful. Especially, the thing that kind of sucks about Ichigo is that when it comes to his true him in his true Zanpakuto form, when he has the dual Zanpakuto, we don't really have good feats when it comes to what Ichigo could do in that form. You know what I mean? It's like the first real fight he has was against Yuha, and he gets destroyed. So it's like we don't really have good things to use in his defense. We know he's strong, but at the same time, it's like we didn't really have enough of it. I feel like we kind of needed more to get a proper idea of just how strong Ichigo was in that form. But anyway, guys, I want to throw the question to you guys. Who do you think would win between Naruto and Ichigo? Again, ignoring Screw Attack, based on what you know of these two fighters, who do you think would win? Let me know in the comment section down below. Do all of the YouTube things, like, share, subscribe, not just for my video, but also the Seth's video. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description box down below. Hope to see you guys for the next one. Bye for now.